All right, so the first hot rod that we are working on today is this little thing. Check this box out, Baba. Let's let you hang out in there for a minute. See if you like the box. We got a surprise for you, girly. Babel, what do you think of that? That is the slickest rig.
Happy early birthday, girl.
Look at that. It's got little Toyota hubcaps.
You were not supposed to do this for your birthday, but your dad decided to spoil you today.
Off-road lights. These lights work.
Do you love it? Think Toyota's coming.
She's gonna grow up and drive a taco now.
Happy birthday.
Little Remy's getting her own fleet of hot rods, man. All right, so the plan today, now that we're getting down to actual business, I primed this last night. That was at the very end of last episode, if you saw it. I mean, I'm gonna put sound deadener over that. I'll probably just paint it black to make it pretty. But anyway, so that's where I'm starting. I'm gonna throw some paint on that. It being enamel, it's going to probably take a while to cure, So from there, I'm going to come this way. And I think the next thing I'm going to do is get these put through my door up here and my pillar. I may have to take the dash out to get those holes cut. That ought to be fun. I may have to modify this valence piece because there's a bolt hole there. I'm not real sure how I'm going to do this yet. But nevertheless, it's got to get done. And then I'm going to make a new one of these. This one's not big enough. It sits down. I just used a random piece of metal I had and just kind of formed this. But it's going to sit up a little higher. And I'm going to set... It's going to go over this to protect the wiring harness. And I do have the chrome strips that go in the door. So I'm going to build that where it's high enough to clear that. And then I'm going to weld little bitty nuts on the bottom, like 8x24 or 10x24, or whatever that real small thread pattern is. So that way, when I bolt, I'll just use countersunk screws into it. And then when I bolt it in, they'll be flat on the bottom instead of sheet metal screws. So that way, there's a whole lot less chance of this getting punctured somehow. But anyway, on the end of that goes in on the floor, it will have sheet metal screws through the floor. There's no point in getting up under the truck and welding nuts. That's a little bit too fancy. I mean, it has sheet metal screws from factory. It worked just fine. I'm just only doing the extra fancy stuff to protect this wiring. I may even put a wiring loom over it so that way it gives it extra protection. So that's what I'm going to work on today. All right, here's a little bit later update. I think that is gonna probably get in the way of the dash. This piece that I took off down there. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll put it all back together and see what we got. You know, I thought that was a good spot. Before I get too critical, we'll see what it looks like when it's all put back together. Anyway, here's this thing. So it's gonna sit way back here towards the back because I got the window track, and it just barely fit around the factory one. And the factory one was mostly on the outside of that door, and it's pretty flat right there. So I'm just gonna have to move this one back. I may have to build this out some. Don't know, we will see. So, also I got the window for this thing somewhere. Yeah, it's made out of wood still, but I think this is the front window. It might even be the back window. But I'll get that put in too by the end of this. I may have to stretch some of these wires in here, and I may run the wires on the outside of this thing behind that door panel once it gets put back on, just to keep it out of the way of the window mechanism. Guess we'll see. And then those 6x9s are the same size as any aftermarket 6x9. So I'll put them in. I may make some kind of cover for the bottom half of the door so that way I can run those. Don't know, maybe, we'll see. Or I can just get some aftermarket ones that look cool. So anyway, there's the plan for now. Dang, man, threw the battery back in. As soon as I connected it, them lights came on. Look at that. So now the door's closed. Should fade out. Well, maybe one of the other door panels is open. That's probably pretty likely, honestly. Well, hold on. Let me see here. That one's latched. Oh, now they went out. Sweet, dude. All right, so I'm going to open this door. Oh, my God. Makes me so happy. Well, anyway, believe it or not, I think this is the easy part, you know? That's there. That thing's there. The door closes and latches like super quietly and smooth compared to the old crappy Chevy stuff. Anyway, so I keep trying to open it like that. So that was what I was going to say next. This is going to be the hard part. You know, I'm reaching in here and I'm grabbing this lever and yanking it. I have no idea how I'm going to... This one I at least have an idea of. So when I pull this up, that travel goes this way, you know, and then when you unlock or when you open the door, this opens. So at least those go in the same direction. The only issue with that is there's a window between them. So I'm gonna have to make some kind of bracket and lever and whatnot that goes behind this rail here and then gets back onto this thing. It probably won't have this rod in it anymore. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do, but here's the lock. I'm not sure how I'm going to do all that yet. And so that seems, you know, relatively easy with a little bit of trial and error. Now this one, being the inside door latch, making that forward and backward motion somehow to where it reaches this, that might be a little bit tricky. Now there is another lever that was for the outside door latch, which I don't know where it's at on this thing. It must be around the back of it where it's hidden. That's it right there. So that is the outside door latch. That would unlock the door. But either way, transferring that motion from, you know, down that one, that might be slightly easier. I'll have to figure that out. That's what I'm thinking is most certainly going to be the tricky part. Now, in other news, I made like an L-shaped bracket. Maybe you can kind of see it here. It's this way, that way, and then it makes another right angle and goes back that way. And so it has the body control module on it right there, up inside the door. This is for power windows. So that's the body control module. It's mounted there. I may drill a hole up here somewhere, like under this, and stick those wires through and just put them down here somewhere until I figure out how in the shiz I'm gonna do power windows. And so now I got my speaker in. Let's see if that works. Hope the key's in the ignition. There it is. I didn't know where I kept it. See if my radio comes on. Well, I guess the radio's probably not going to come on because it's not there. All right, went to the hardware store right quick and got some flush mount 5/16 by 18 countersunks. They're black oxide. I really wish they were not black oxide, but that's literally the best thing that they had because that's gonna rust. Oh well. But check this out. Man, that's nice. That nice and quiet. You know, it doesn't sound like a clacky old piece of junk truck. I think that's about right where it needs to be. I'm gonna have to do some work on this thing because this is further out. It's got some spots in it that need some adjustment. But anyway, now this doesn't do anything. I'll have to figure that out. So I gotta reach inside. That's nice though. I might do something to pretty this up some. I'll round these corners off, and so this is adjustable still. Like I can loosen these and slide it in and out. This is pretty well exactly where it's going to be because it's countersunk and they fit tight. This has the sliders on the inside, so it's still adjustable. But that's nice, man. That was all it took. It didn't sound like a clacky old piece of junk. Just opening this one's louder. That's funny. Now, before I get too carried away and clean all this up and weld it in, I think what I'm going to do is figure out how to make the linkages work, because that's pretty important, I'd say. Last night, I put the transmission pan back in the truck, all painted nicely, like put the transfer case shifter in. I didn't even have to adjust the linkage. It is like exactly where it needed to be, so that was pretty cool. And then this thing out of the 4th gen, I cut the pillars off of it because it sat up really high so that way it could go over this air duct. So I, as of right now, am going to leave that air duct out of the transmission pan area because I don't have the heater box up there for it to connect into. Anyway, it was sitting up really high. It kind of looked goofy. I feel like it's, you know, looks a little more like it's supposed to. I don't know what this is. I'm guessing that's where a manual would be if this was a manual truck. I don't remember what was there on this 4th gen, to be honest about it. But I got a little bit of a gap there, you know, between these two pieces. And then that, I'm not sure. I mean, I might just wrap this in something to close up that gap I cut too wide. And then that gap, not sure. It'll all get done eventually. So I still got to mount the little push button thing with the trailer brakes and exhaust brake and stuff in there, tow haul mode, and then the radio. I may do that today. I might see if I can get another one of these bezels, because I cut this one all up and because I just didn't know what I was going to do. But I don't know. I still don't know what I'm going to do. So anyway, as far as the door goes, got the basics of it working yesterday. So it closes and it opens. And, you know, I got to open it from the inside still. Pull this little lever. So looking at this yesterday, I got 2 options as far as getting this to work. There's the weather strip. So this thing, I can make some kind of lever that goes behind this rail and connects into this and, you know, makes it pull. Or what I can do, this bracket I made, the L-shaped bracket with a body control module up in there, I thought about taking another piece of metal and going straight back from this one, you know, inside the door. Kind of, it's not touching the front, not touching the back. And it'll be in this area somewhere. Connect up there, and that'll have a very solid anchor point to mount all this lever and monkey motion and stuff off of. And then I'll just make this come forward, have a pivot up here somewhere, and then it'll have a rod that goes along with the bar that I put in there, and then it'll open this. So I think that the inside, I think, is going to be the easy part. Now getting, you know, I already said this, but getting that one to transfer its motion to this direction is going to be the tricky part. But I don't know, I may not mess with that today. I kind of want to just do easy stuff right now. Like I might make another one of these for the back and get that wiring harness. I'll worry about these rockers a little later on. That's probably a 2-week project, 2-weekend project, because everything takes forever around here. Literally gone all week long every week because I work, but so weekends it is on the truck. So here's a midday update, about lunchtime or so. I made all of these pieces, you know, that's gonna protect my wiring. So all that's made. And then I took them back out, welded little bitty tiny nuts to the bottom, and now all these are bolted in. Of course, I do have brand new chrome ones, but I don't even know which one of the trucks these were out of. Maybe the blue one, because they're not rusted all the way through like most of them were, and they're still fairly solid. I don't know, maybe, I don't know which truck they're out of. But either way, they're there, and they're gonna stay there until I get this thing completely put together and put the chrome ones in. But so it'll be carpet, black loop carpet up until under this, and then I guess I'll just have this painted black so that way it just kind of disappears. And the carpet's gonna end under this, and that's gonna hold the carpet down. So that's my plan, because I don't want the carpet to come all the way down here. I guess it might work, but it's gonna be tough to fight it in behind this seal, because there's gonna be a seal here too. Looks a little goofy right there. That's not that big of a deal. Honestly, once all this is painted black in here, that's gonna disappear. Like you're gonna have to be paying attention to see that. You know, if you're just jumping in the truck, you're not gonna notice it. If I got my doors open at a car show, somebody might, but I could take a hammer and tap it, I guess. So I think what I'm gonna do now, oh, and this too, I added this hole here for a seatbelt. The black truck had it, because we had seatbelts in this truck, and then there's those holes right there. So anyway, I think what I'm about to do is put my headliner in. It should be a decent sized project. I'm sure somebody out there is having an aneurysm because they don't like the way I did my ceiling. They probably think I should have added this all the way back. Well, sucks, because I wanted it to be more like a modern truck where it has a structure right there, so that way it looks like a modern truck. So what I'm gonna do here is I have this. I think that's gonna look real slick in there. And there'll be a seam in the center. So a seam all the way down the middle. And then I'll put a chrome strip through the middle of the light, through covering the seam. And then back there, I think, you know, there's that line. This line here. I think I'm gonna come down just a hair more and go to the center of this light too with the chrome. And it probably will, yeah, I'm thinking it's gonna have a chrome strip all the way around, you know, all the way, and then all the way around the edge, so that way it covers the seam. Well, I don't know, that may not be necessary because the seal is gonna tuck up over the headliner. You know, probably would be best to wait until after I paint. The ceiling's not gonna get painted. All this is primed. I'll probably go back and prime it again just to get these welds. And then clean it. It looks like it's got, yeah, it's definitely got a lot of dust on it. And then the truck, I painted the black truck this silver color. This truck's kind of ugly color, whatever that is. But what I think I'm gonna paint this truck is like gunmetal metallic gray. And this Dodge is kind of already that color. The pieces of the tradesman Dodge. So anyway, and I guess when my primer's drying, once I prime all my bare metal that's still left up there and take my sun visors down, I haven't even decided what to do with mounting the radio. I mean, maybe I should just ball out and get a big touchscreen radio and be done with it. Y'all, that's what I should do. I don't know why I didn't just do that. That'll definitely look better. I mean, this is going to be kind of a high-end build. It probably should have a touchscreen radio in it instead of a 2010 factory tradesman radio. I don't know. Whatever. We'll figure it out. I'll go to Best Buy and get me some kickers and a radio, maybe. We'll see. And that's a wrap. Check this out. This looks pretty good. Yeah, I don't like how soft that stuff is. It makes it all wavy. So, I don't know. On the front, I put screws every 3 inches because, just because of that. Still a little bit wavy looking. I don't know. I mean, it's all right, I guess. Then got my visors back in already. Put my mirror in. This C60 didn't have a mirror at all. This is out of the black Chevy, and it looked like a big open gap there without that. So I put that in. Peep the orange truck. So anyway, yes, I am out of the headliner material. That is why the back is not done. I guess, you know, I definitely thought I ordered enough, but that really wide section there came off the front of that. And to get this seam right in the center like I wanted it, so I could put that chrome strip there. The nice straight factory edge I put there, and then I just trimmed out around the windshield. So I probably did have enough area, you know, by measurement, but you know, I had to do it lengthways because the truck is wide enough that I had to do it lengthways. So anyway, yeah, I guess I just should have ordered extra. But anyway, I'll take this back off and put the rest of it all the way back, and then do another chrome strip from the center of that light all the way back around to the door. And then it's gonna have one going all the way up the front of the door. And I'll run that once I get the second half in there, because I'll probably cut this one off and it'll end right at the top of the one going lengthways. So I think this looks pretty sweet. That's why I left the metal work right there, so that way it has some definition up there. There's something there. So cool. All right, so it's finally happening. Monday has come. We are taking the ECM to the diesel shop. Crazy cat. We're taking the Vic. All right, so today I already took that ECM down there to the shop. I don't know when it's gonna get back. It'd be really cool if it got done pretty fast, but we'll see. So anyway, what I'm working on now on this truck is I adjusted this door because it got to where it was sagging. I only had one bolt in each hinge, so it started sagging over time. So anyway, I put all three of the bolts in on each hinge, tightened them down, adjusted my door, adjusted the latch a little bit. Had to do that since I moved the door. Now my doors are flush. I'll have to rework this area a little bit. Now, this pillar has always been not quite right. So this I'm gonna build out just a hair, and then I'm gonna finish filling this, because all that needs to be filled out about 1/8 of an inch and then ground off smooth like the rest of it. All right, here's all I did. I took arc welding rods, beat all the flux off of it, and just used the little skinny pieces of tube metal. So basically, one of these, no flux, so it's that thick there at the bottom. So that's how I did a lot of this, where I've already added into it. I just never had got that done. And I have the welder on full hot, and I'm not skipping around because I'm not worried about this warping up here. So I'm just going zip, 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 right as I go. So no warpage. That's just bent there from where I beat on it because this door was wavy when I first put it together. So anyway, now I'm going to grind it with a rock and then flat disc once it gets close to where it's supposed to be, and then finish it off with a sander. So here's that. All right, so here is finished product. I may have to, looks like it's got a little high hump right there and then maybe still low right here. I don't know. I have to mess with it some more. I mean, it's better than it was. So the next thing I'm gonna do is take this off and build some shims behind it to set it out flush with the door. Because right now it just kind of looks like crap. So that's what we're doing next. It's Wednesday, June 12th. Yesterday, before I went into work, I knocked out 90% of my yards with the old orange truck. And then I got the last handful of them this morning. And now, we're going from mowing truck to hot rod power tour. Stay tuned. I just talked to this guy for a while. He's super nice. I love Canadians. They're so cheery. Man, this is really making me upset that my truck is not done. 2001, 24 valve. He likes VP44s. He said he's always had good luck with them. This truck is sick. All right, man, after putting together that last video, I realized I didn't take an update since I did the pillar on that time lapse. You know, this thing got some waves in it. I don't even know how I beat the heck out of it so bad. I think I was just like trying to get the curve in it from the inside when I first formed this. This is 2 days later, by the way. This is after the hot rod power tour. So I made this new piece the other day, and then I didn't like something about it, so I was like, oh, I'm just gonna use the other one. So, you know, the other one is wavy, and it's all right, I suppose. But I don't know. I mean, I may still switch it out. I still got to take it apart and like I'm gonna drill some holes and cleco it where I want it, and then cut the spot welds off, so that way I can just pop it right back on where I want it. But anyway, I trimmed out this section to get it to sit closer, and now that's a gap that is going to be more difficult to fill. So I think I'm just going to make the other one fit there. It was the same. It was too far out down here, so I'll just have to take this shim out. So anyway, yeah, went to Hot Rod Power Tour today. I'm gonna make my own. That's gonna be its own separate video because there was way too much video to add into this one. So anyway, my dad saw a crew cab there. Like I had just left, you know. We pulled out of there, I turned right, and then my dad turned left, and then he sent me a picture of a crew cab there, a 60, I don't even know. It was this body style, but he had done he left front door factory and then did the 63 front door on the back with the knee knocker thing. And I didn't see that. I've literally never seen one of these trucks in person besides this one. And you know, this was 2 single cabs when I started with it. Anyway, news on the ECM. So the first shop I took the ECM to, the guy said, all your CAN bus wiring is good. We shot the wiring, it's good. And then your computer is bad. So I took the computer to a shop that has the equipment to test the computer, and he says the ECM is good. So anyway, I don't know what the actual issue is. Oh, sorry, cat, get out from the way. Anyway, yeah, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do here. Thinking I might get the computer back and, you know, try to test the thing myself, or put it back on the truck, reshoot all the wiring. It's CAN-C bus is the issue, why they could not communicate with the computer, because, you know, once they can communicate with the computer, they can go in there and figure out what the frick is going on with this anti-theft system, why it won't start. You know, maybe the CAN-C issue is the whole issue altogether.